A 2025 commitment is on the board. Let's talk about who that is and some initial reactions, even though this is way out in the future. All that coming up right now. War Eagle Auburn family, War Eagle E2C Network family, thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, spending some time talking about this particular topic within the Auburn experience. What is the topic at hand today? 2025 commitment for the Auburn Tigers, Jakaleb Faulk, for the second overall commitment in this class. Brother, Kate, excuse me, I got all choked up there. His brother is also here at Auburn right now. So lots of cool, different storylines to break down. And we're doing this in a little bit different format than we typically do for our commitment videos. And we'll explain why in just a little bit. But all of that we're going to break down, we're going to discuss here, and mainly want to get some of your reactions, your thoughts, comments, questions related to this topic. With that in mind, let's go ahead and jump into how we normally love to start off the show. If you could do us a humongous favor, if you feel like we've earned it, replay, if you're watching there, if you're watching live, go ahead and smash that like button. It does help us out. And also, if you can, right now in the chat, live or on the replay, post that you're here. Let us know where you're watching from, your city and your state. If you're international, you can do that too with a War Eagle. Let me know that you're here hanging out with us tonight as I continue to get choked up for some reason. It just got me so moved that we got a 2025 commit. So that is how we can get this show started tonight. Let me just offer some initial thoughts while you guys are kind of gathering into the room, and then we'll kind of lay the groundwork for why we're doing this as a live stream, and also want to start addressing some of your comments and questions. Obviously, this is another one of those that has been kind of thought was going to go the way it went. Auburn seemed to be the favorite, although it was an Iron Bowl battle, it seemed like, between Auburn and Alabama, for those of you that are watching, maybe that don't know what the Iron Bowl is. But Auburn wins again. It's been a very interesting go-round since Hugh Freeze has got here between Auburn and Alabama battles. Now, of course, you're going to have the Alabama fans saying, we didn't want them anyway. Of course, they always say that. But we know the real answer for why they're saying that, because they're feeling a little bit vulnerable now. Obviously, we also want to talk about the really cool family aspect of this whole thing that I think is really extra special. We talk a lot about the Auburn family, right? And how unique and awesome that is. But his brother, Keldrick Faulk, also is currently on the team. He plays a similar type position, came in as an edge, now has moved over to reportedly defensive end to help out over there. Similar-ish positions, and his brother Jakaleb also will probably be an edge too, but is listed at just defensive line for our purposes of discussions here. So why are we doing this as a live stream? Let me give you the quick rundown of that. Since it's so far in advance, we're still talking 2024 stuff. We're just getting in the middle of that. So much can change and happen even till we get to the end of the 2024 cycle before 2025 even is really a factor. We're going to just use these opportunities when they commit early to do this. We'll talk about some of the facts, but we're not going to do those really in-depth videos that we do until we get to the point of us being in the 2025 discussion as a whole. So, but this gives us a great opportunity for you all to give your opinions, your thoughts, questions about this particular commitment. So we're going to dive into it a little bit today. I will address some other questions about recruiting, Auburn football related things, maybe at the end of the stream. But for now, we're going to mainly take questions and comments about this particular topic. A lot of celebration and gathering here. Mr. James Barnett checking in with us. Mr. Brian says having dinner at the BWW. Buffalo Wild Wings. It's like B-dubs is how they say it. The kids say it at least. Hopped on to say, War Eagle, love how the staff recruits. Definitely have done a great job in that aspect, have they not? Thomas, good to see you, sir. Freeze is building something special in Auburn. We could be back. We could have back-to-back top 10 classes. Well, let me use your comment here to, first of all, say, whoa, hold your horses there, James. We are just getting started with 2025. However, I love the optimism and the positivity. For your reference point, and we're going to talk about some of the facts like we normally would in our traditional recruiting videos. We'll make that eventually, but we're going to cover it in just not so fine-tuned a video like we normally do. This is the second of the 2025 commits. You'll know that Malik Autry of Opelika, also a defensive lineman, more than likely, probably an interior defensive lineman, 6'6", 280. So not exactly the same position, but they're part of the same position group, roughly. There's also been some trepidation about that. Malik has been courting other teams of late, it seems like. And so there's been thought that he might flip. So some people would say this might be a replacement one coming there, but they're not exactly the same position, more of the defensive end edge as opposed to interior defensive lineman. So that's a cool little aspect there just to kind of note. But the second one currently in this class, and it's a great start. Obviously, if you go by the stars, if that's something that you put a lot of emphasis in, I understand why you do. That's a great way to start off, a 4-star commit. On most people's sites, I believe. I've got a few of them kind of pulled up just to reference. It looks like consensus 4-star thus far for Jakaleb Faulk. So if that's what gets you jazzed up, you are perfectly in the right to say that this is the beginning of a top 10 class back-to-back classes, maybe. Mr. Beautiful says a prediction he will probably be a 5-star by next season. And this is a great example, Mr. Beautiful. It's weird to say. Why we're doing the live stream format for these 2025 commits until we actually get to the official beginning of that once 2024 is concluded. So much can change. He's going to grow and change. He's going to, have more stats to talk about. More things are going to happen on the football team, roster moves that maybe open up opportunities. So it just feels a little bit premature for us to do our in-depth videos thus far, but more just kind of talking about it right now. Imagine a line of Phillips, JJ Faulk, and Keldrick all rushing the passer at the same time. That's going to be dangerous. And Samuel, that's a great point. We talked already about how cool that Keldrick's here, that he'll get to play with his brother, right? Because they're 1 year removed. You have to play 3 years before you can leave early. So the great thing is we know, barring unforeseen circumstances, Jakaleb and Keldrick will play together at Auburn as long as he follows through with his commitment. Injuries, all those things could play into it, or transfers in and out. But things look really good, and that should excite you. I love that. That's such a cool storyline when you see family members following each other to the same place. You also understand why sometimes family members do not go to the same school. Sometimes there's some separation when you see those stories start happening. For instance, Alex McPherson, I always say Alex McPherson, our kicker, his brother played for Florida, but it was several years removed. He chose to come to Auburn. You saw the Carlsons who came, I know I'm using kickers right now. They came to Auburn together because they had an opportunity to be on the team together. So a lot of the times when there's an opportunity to play together, you see them go to the same place. I'll use a flip side example. It doesn't always work that way. Alabama just got Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., the son of the great that they had previously, and he chose to still go to Alabama. So, it doesn't always work that way, but a lot of times you will see that. They want to play together, so they will, and that's a father-son dynamic, that last one. But that's just a really cool thing to have to talk about in this commitment here. Thomas says, since we have the Faulk brothers on the same team on the opposite side of the defensive line, I vote we call them the Brothers of Destruction. Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. Okay, chat. See, this is one of the great things about getting to do a live stream with this. I want to know, that's a great starting point. Brothers of Destruction. Anybody else? I've got one in my head. Got a nickname for the defensive line, or just the pair together on the defensive line? What would you call them? Brothers of Destruction is our starting point. It may be the best one, but Thomas has started something here that's interesting. Samuel says that I watch Jakaleb Faulk's first game, and he is a monster. He was all over the field. They do seem to be a very good crop of physical specimens. For instance, I'll give you kind of the approximate measurables here on Jakaleb across a couple of the different sites that list that. We'll just call it approximately 6'3", maybe slightly taller than that, 225 pounds. And keep in mind, just started his junior year, literally just started his junior year. So still a lot of room to grow physically, measurables wise, accolades wise, stats wise, but that's what you're working with right now. So I don't foresee him putting on a ton more weight. So I would think he'd probably play more of the edge type of position, but for now, we'll just call him a defensive line commit for now. A lot can change. Neil, thank you for the kind words. Yes, we did break 4,000 subscribers. Humongous goal met. Thanks in part to all of you. Well, not in part, all to you guys who are here and subscribed. If you're on Facebook watching, come on over and join the party here at YouTube Central. It's always great to be here on this side of things. The Bruise brothers, the Bash brothers. Very nice. That's not bad. That's not bad. So for those of you that watched it live, he did the whole fake out thing with switching a hat in and off. And, you know, there was a lot of discussion today. Was he acting like he was more into Alabama than he actually was, just to make things interesting? I don't know. Look, don't know the kid personally. Don't know what he was interested in. I think it's one of those situations where you have an opportunity to play with your brother, you go play with your brother. It's just kind of what it is. Devin checking in. Thanks for being here with us. Faulk is going to get bigger, but I don't think he's going to get as big as his brother Keldrick. Well, and that makes sense too. You can see why already as a true freshman, Keldrick is being moved over, at least for now, to the defensive end position because they need help there, but because he has the specimen wise, has the ability to be able to pull that off. So it makes a lot of sense that he may not be as big or even get bigger than his brother, but still great. Yes, Neil, the famous phrase, we didn't want him anyway. You know, that's exactly coming there. All right. Keep your comments and questions coming about Jakaleb. Any thoughts about him? If you've got another suggestion for the brother dynamic there, we've got Bash brothers, brothers of destruction, the Bruise brothers. Drop them in right now. Let me see if there's any other information I can give you initially. And then what I'd like to do is a little bit of what we normally do in our traditional recruit videos. Again, we will do one of those once we get done with the 2024 season. So probably about middle of February, we'll do one about him if he's still committed, about all the detailed information that we know then. But for now, we've talked about that he's a 4-star, 6'3", approximately 220, 225 pounds. Auburn, Alabama were the big players in this. You'll see names like, you know, Clemson and Florida also thrown in there, but it was really an Iron Bowl battle. Will play with his brother, Keldrick, at Auburn from Highland Home, Alabama in the 2025 class. He'll be the second commitment in this class, the second on the defensive line. If Malik Autry stays, it will remain that way. So not really a swap if he decommits, but necessarily an addition to that class overall. What would be interesting to do is maybe take a look at what the roster looks like currently. And this is a really far out look to kind of make a guess what his playing opportunities might be. And if his brother is any indicator, he will have a great opportunity to play early too. If they are from the same, obviously they are from the same gene line there, that obviously sets up usually a good pedigree of athleticism. So right now, let's just assume that he's going to play edge right now. That's where most people put him at. That's the jack position at Auburn. So currently you've got Jalen McLeod, a junior, transfer junior, Elijah McAllister, a redshirt senior, Steven Sings, which is going to be, is he really a junior? I swear I thought he was a freshman, but no, he is a redshirt junior. And then you got Brenton Williams, who is a freshman. This is what one site has it all listed out. I'm probably leaving some people off of that. But right now you will see that's who's there. That's a lot of upperclassmen talent that will be gone by the time that he's here. Think about it. I mean, Elijah's gone after this year. Steven Sings and Jalen McLeod are gone after that year. And obviously we've already added in some talent from the 2024 class that's going to be arriving before he even gets here. So right now it looks like there's a good rotation in and out of the team at this position. So the opportunities are probably wide open for him at this moment. Let me see if there was any other commentary you guys had. I think Keldrick is better at defensive end than edge. Having Jalen McLeod at the edge helps him make the switch because defensive end is kind of weak for us right now. I think in perception wise, I could understand that narrative. We'll have to wait and see. And obviously, Keldrick may fix that problem if it was actually there. Knox says, cool to see a couple of brothers going to be playing with each other. Absolutely, it is. So all in all, since we're at 15 minutes, that's what we'll kind of do here. We've kind of broken down the gist of the information that you need to know initially about Jakaleb Faulk. Long way till we even get to February in 2024 season ending. We'll break it down again there with anything that's been updated about him. But I would love to still continue to take comments and questions about him and recruiting, and maybe even a little bit of Auburn football stuff if you guys want to on the back half of this. So stay tuned here. Let me give you the boilerplate stuff for every show that we do and let you know what we've got coming up. Hope you can join us Wednesday evening for our Auburn Family Night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We've been doing that since the dawn of time. So please join us this Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time for our call-in show where we'll talk about anything. You can be a channel member here for $1 a month. Hit that join button on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube and you just want to take the next step in supporting E2C, you could join what was formerly known as the Booster Club, and we'll be changing officially soon. $1 a month gets you in there for some cool perks. And those two things are connected now. So if you want to just join one or the other, you get some pretty cool things with that. So appreciate those of you that can do that. And of course, check out all the other links in the description for ways that you can help support us. Shopping with us on YouTube, there should be some t-shirts listed there below. All those great things. So that's all the stuff that I want to give you usually that we have to tell you about on each and every live stream. What else is on your minds in relation to this commitment, recruiting, Auburn football? I can take a few more minutes of comments and questions, and then we'll call it a nice little surprise stream for you all. I saw we had a very nice announcement from Devin in here. I'm trying to find it back. And another boy for Devin. Congratulations. We'll just say this is the early commitment video for that boy, right? Maybe the next edge position that's going to be taken care of when he arrives to campus here. I know someone said earlier, and I'm trying to find it. Where did it go? Cam Franklin? Obviously, that's probably the biggest disappointment as of late, losing out to Kamarian Franklin, defensive line wise. Would have been a really cool week, a little over a week, to get TJ Lindsey, Kamarian Franklin, and then Jakaleb Faulk. Obviously, 2 in the 24 class and 1 in the 25. So it's not that super related, but just a nice stretch there. What's interesting for me in this recruiting class so far is how, on top of it, they've been on the defensive side of the ball already. And I know what some of you are already thinking and saying, probably have already typed it on if you're on the replay, we need more offensive line recruiting. Yes, we all understand that. We all know it. But we still got to, be impressed with what they've done defensive recruiting right now. So definitely a good head start for the 2025 class. Yep. What do you guys think? What are your opinions? We are at the start of the 2023 season. So what for you, in your minds, is the number this 2025 class should be at? So let me expand that question even further. The recruiting class that's 2 cycles ahead, meaning they won't arrive next year for the next season. At this point in the year, the start of the season, where should you be at? 1 commit? No commits? 2, 3, 5? What do you guys feel like is appropriate? All situations are different, but I'm curious because, some people will say Auburn's behind. Some people will say Auburn's ahead. Some people will say they're right where they should be. Just something that just kind of popped in my head if you guys had a thought on that. Mr. Beautiful, wish I was a great 4 or 5-star high school player heading to Auburn and making $300,000 per year. Wouldn't even consider the NFL after that. No interest in the NFL. You can still make much better money in the NFL, especially if you're a star. But I understand your point. It is a much different world to legally get paid as an Auburn football player now, or a college football player and athlete in general. So, yeah, it would have been nice back in the day to have the talent and to also be paid for it like they are able to now. And, I don't know where Jakaleb would be at in the whole NIL process of everything. It seems a little bit early. I guess nothing's out of the realm of possibilities. But I would bet when you couple in Auburn selling itself, and especially when you kind of give it an opportunity to sell itself to you, as Jakaleb has done, the factor with his brother there and what Auburn can do NIL wise, I think this one feels pretty solid. Does anybody have any concerns? The fact that this was an Iron Bowl battle, do you think this will go down to the wire again? I would say that if for some reason Keldrick, his brother, transferred out, that would definitely change things. But I think we're going to be fine. Freeze is still developing relationships, so I think it will pick up for 2025 once some games are played this year. So what does that mean for you? Like, should we be further along? Is that what you think? I'm just curious. I'm not saying there's a right or the wrong answer. I'm just always curious what people have thought. 4 to 5 commits sounds about right as far as the number of commits for 2025 goes. So so in your mind, Neil, what I'm interpreting, reading correctly here, I hope, we're a little bit behind where you think we should be. I don't think it's necessarily right or wrong. But 2 in the class, 2 on the defensive line, and maybe more to come. I believe there were some 2024, but also 2025 linebackers that were considering flipping, I guess would be the term, to Auburn soon, or at least kind of felt like they would. We'll wait and see. Obviously, every commitment, whether it's for this class or a future class, builds momentum, gets people excited about wanting to be here. I trust Coach Freeze to have us where we need to be. He has not disappointed so far. You kind of gave the generic statement there. Yep, I completely agree with that. He is not. I think this is definitely one of those situations with what he's accomplished, given the factors that he had to work with. You should definitely just kind of know that he's done the best that he can right now, and he's definitely shown that. I think we are where we should be for now. A lot of offers given out. Some are probably waiting to see. Yeah, I think that's probably what we're all anticipating, right? Maybe this is the first of a wave once you get some games underneath your belt, especially if Auburn pulls off an upset this year, maybe in that Texas A&M, Georgia, LSU portion of the schedule that they're not supposed to pull off, and that really gets some people interested. We have only just begun, just like the song. Very, very, very true. I have zero concerns of what Coach Hugh Freeze is doing recruiting. Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Final thoughts, comments, questions, derogatory rebuttals. We got about 1:30 left, but if you got something you want to say, something you want me to address on this live stream, get it in now. How'd you all enjoy this version of doing a recruit video? Obviously, as I said at the beginning of the show, if you got here late, we will do these for 2025 commits, and then I will come back and do those commitment informational videos once we actually get to the quote-unquote official beginning of their cycle. It's already begun, but you understand what I mean once 2024 is done. I love that Coach Freeze used his inner Coach Pearl on Big Cat Weekend. Yeah, they're definitely a nice dynamic, aren't they? You counter the recruiting abilities of Coach Pearl and not counter, but combine those with Freeze. The two biggest, arguably sports at Auburn are sitting really good. DeAndre Carter, I think, is the one that everybody's waiting on and will really just set the tone for the rest of this cycle, because everybody is convinced that we are just sucking it up in the offensive line recruiting game. And there's not anybody there, so I could understand that. But you also have to look at beyond just what's in the class and what's here. There's a young crop of guys that are already here. People forget that Dylan Cinda was like added in the 12th hour of the night from Northwestern. That's a good one too. Doesn't mean we don't need some. Maybe DeAndre Carter will be that next one up. Always great to do a live when AU picks up a big recruit. Yeah, I like doing the edited videos more personally because I like going in depth and stuff, but I also like reacting with you. So this is kind of the good way to do and accomplish all of those things. So thank you guys for the feedback. All right, 25 minutes sounds like a good stream, good crowd. Thank you all so much for tuning in on Impromptu Night. This is why you should always be subscribed here at YouTube, but anywhere, follow us anywhere because you never know when some content's coming out as much as we try to schedule it for you. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, and spending time being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Smash that like button on the way out until we talk to you again. War Eagle.